Hi everybody, this is a screencast to help with the calculator assignment. What you were given is this, not much, like being dropped in the jungle with a machete, and that's it. So what we're doing is I'll go ahead and explain it. I'll zoom out of here a little bit so you can see the code that I have right now. Come on, buddy, let's zoom out. Okay, so let's look at the HTML first. Now, this right here is a good example of HTML entities, but really what we need is quotes. So if you download it and you have that, in this case, you look for the actual character. Now you can keep the HTML entities, by the way, and it'll work perfectly. That's this ampersand, the hash 39, and the semicolon. That equals a single quote, which is what we've been using to pass a string into the argument of the function. So we'll take this slowly here, and I'm going to copy this and replace this as well with the equals. Now, we want to make sure that we pass the argument to the proper argument to the function. So let's take a close look at what was passed, because this is probably the thing that confuses people the most. I've got a variable right there. This literally is a variable. You don't see var, you just see a variable there. Now, if we wanted to globalize it, what we could do is do var num entered above, and then it would be globalized. But regardless, it doesn't need to be, because the work it does is inside the function. So what work does it do? Well, it communicates to the equation, which will be evaluated. So I'm going to do console.log real quick. Whoops, excuse me. I'm working on a really cheap laptop, and that's one of the issues right here. So this is num entered, and all I'm going to do is, actually, I'm going to add a string that says you have entered. We'll do single quote, you have entered, space, and then a plus sign. So as far as the people who haven't programmed before in this class, if you get this, you're doing pretty well. That's a big thing. So let's move this down here. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to open it up in Chrome, and we will look at my console. So right now, when I inspect, we'll just take there's my console right there. That's a nice way to open up the developer tools. So I do 1, 2. Let's refresh this. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the one that's still on Blackboard. Here we go. So I'm going to inspect this, and this will open up my dev tools. Hopefully. There we go. Took a second. But let's say I do 1. It says you have entered 1. If I do 4, you have entered 4. Equals and plus. Okay? Ignore this. This has to do with the equation. But for each one of these, I have been able to pass an argument. That's one of the biggest things that we're teaching here. I pass a 1. You see, that's a number. It doesn't have quotes. 1 becomes num entered. So what we've done is take all the things that were entered and continually concatenate into the value of the answer ID, which is nothing more than this. So if you think that our input type has an ID of answer, we could get the value of this by writing document.getElementById answer.value, and that's what this is. Okay, so when I have the plus equals, that means I'm continually adding things to the screen. Now I'm going to delete that because that was just for an example, and focus on this conditional. Okay, so let's save this, and we will go ahead and refresh. So here's the refresh. Now if I do 1 plus 4, that's because I haven't pressed the equal button yet. If you look here, I have a condition. If num entered is equal to equals, then we know that the user expects an answer. We will provide that answer by using the eval function, which evaluates strings or equations that are in a string. So basically, I'm making a variable that equals the evaluation of all the things inside the text input on top of the calculator. So this value will probably be equal to something like 1 plus 4. Then I'm going to take that answer and populate the value with it.